This is the Under the Ring Report. And now, the guys who make wrestling podcasting too sweet. John the Flesh Wound and Cousin Tom.
That's right. The Under the Ring Report is back. And Tom, this week, we're going to get too sweet.
Oh, or one sweet, depending on what part of the country you stand
whoop. On. One sweet. Whoop, whoop. But the reason I talked to you earlier about this, and I mean, you know, we had the whole splintering of the Bullet Club. Mm-hmm. And what I wanted to talk about is our thoughts. Are they starting to become more and more like the NWO towards the end of the NWO reign?
That's a good question. That's a very good question.
Well, because here's my argument, okay? We had the Bullet Club, all right?
Right.
Then we had the Elite, okay?
Yeah.
Also on the other side, OG Bullet Club, okay?
Yeah.
Golden Elite. And now
yes.
we have the Bullet Club Firing Squad.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So you compare that to the NWO Black, the NWO Red Wolfpack.
Right.
And then you had the combination once again from, what was it, the NWO, I can't remember what the hell they were called. It was like the new and improved one that had like Hall and Bret Hart and Jeff Jarrett in it.
Yeah, there's that one. And then they had their little remnants like the LWO.
Yep.
The little offshoots. Back then it was a lot of, if you can slap a sticker on it that says NWO, it's going to sell.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happened to the product.
When you get to the point where you're looking at leaders to the NWO and you're sitting there going, okay, what do we got here? The NWO A team, the NWO B team, because let's see, the NWO B team, who the hell was it? Stevie Ray was part of the B team as the leader. Yeah. Remember that? And Horace Hogan.
Hogan.
Yeah.
Where was Scott Norton at? Scott Norton was in there.
He was part of the B one. Brian Adams was there too.
Buff Bagwell was in there.
And Vincent.
Oh, and God, yeah. Who can forget Vincent?
And I remembered what the other NWO was called, finally. It was NWO 2000.
Oh, there's an original name.
Yeah. So, but that's where I worry because, you know, after the NWO got so bloated, you know, I think at one time you had probably more than 75% of the roster on the NWO.
Yeah.
Things started to go downhill because people didn't care about the story. And I'm worried that we could see the same thing start to happen with the Bullet Club.
I know Kevin Nash is on the record saying that, especially when Bullet Club first started, is they were a more athletic version of the NWO.
Uh-huh.
And that's part of the reason why they were able to do the too sweet hand gesture and got the blessing, because, you know, they liked what they were doing and paying homage to them, and so it wasn't that big a deal. And I know from listening to Eric Bischoff's podcast, he said that originally the reason they had so many NWO things, his idea was to basically do WCW versus NWO. So that was,
which they should have done. Yeah, because it was so popular. Yeah, they were so popular. It would have been perfect. Yeah,
I can remember Hogan dropping the leg on Macho Man and the birth of the NWO, which that anniversary just took place just in the last week or two.
Yep.
You know, I can remember that like nothing, like it was yesterday. I can remember the Wolfpack, the red and black, but the NWO 2000 somehow or another, that's like you just said it to me for the first time. Like I remember Jeff Jarrett being in it,
but they were black and silver because it was Nash and Hall, Jeff Jarrett, and Bret Hart. They all were together.
Yeah, I remember that, but like the name, that was like I've never heard it before in my life. I just like blocked it out. But it got to the point where, you know, you can remember all the run-ins, all the matches, and all the run-ins. There was always a run-in on WCW. You knew when you got near the 10 o'clock hour, the whole locker room was going to empty and everybody was going to end up in the ring.
Somebody's getting spray painted.
Exactly, because nobody knew how to book a finish on that show. Nobody could book a finish to save their lives that was interesting or original. So it was just always run-ins. And the next thing you know, you'd have 15 guys in the ring and 12 of them were in the same faction. Like, now, how are you supposed to tell a story when it's 12 on 3? That's where I kind of lost interest after a while. It's like, okay.
And when that group was so powerful, that's the other problem too. No one was able to defeat anyone from the NWO until like Diamond Dallas Page finally. You know, when you let them destroy everybody, that was part of the things that brought that company down. But that's why I look at the Bullet Club now and I try to figure out if they're heading that way. Because I mean, if you think about it, the original Bullet Club, and even with AJ Styles in there and Gallows and Anderson and all them when they were there, the Bullet Club was a heel group. You know, they did heel tactics. But since Omega and the Young Bucks, they started to turn learned that, and when Cody got there too, they became a face because people loved them, the cool face, but Cody was the only one doing heel tactics pretty much, because Omega never really touched any of that stuff, and the Buck's the same. And that's
that's part of the reason Omega pushed for everyone to call him the Elite, because he was even on record as saying there's so many people that's been in and out of Bullet Club that it doesn't feel like Bullet Club anymore, so we want to be called the Elite,
which is fine.
So he pushed for a separation. But the thing that I loved about the Cow Palace show just took place a couple weeks ago was at the very end when the firing squad, as they're called now, which was Gorillas of Destiny with Haku.
Yep.
When they jumped all those guys.
Bad Luck Phil's in there too, man.
That's right. Yeah, he wasn't there.
His T-shirt he posted the other day. Fuck him.
But the thing I loved about it was all you've heard about is the Elite, the Golden Elite, and all this other stuff with Bullet Club, and it's like they forgot about one of the original members.
Yeah.
And that was Tama Tonga.
Mm-hmm.
And so now here's a whole new storyline. So this has me interested. But if it gets to the point to where we're on 8 different factions and we're all going against 4 people, then I'm about done.
And
but
that's
right now I'm interested.
That's what I wonder about too. I mean, because the funny thing too is, OGBC, they've still been heels in New Japan, and this group has been splintered for a while. I mean, this group's been splintered since Styles left, to be quite honest. When Omega, you talked about it yourself, how Omega wanted to distance himself anyway, but they're not a heel group. Never will be. And, with the being Elite, that's what I worry is, so we've got the Elite back together, it seems. But what do you do with the Golden Elite? That's kind of the one that I'm sitting there going, scratching my head. What's that really doing? I know Kenny and the Golden Lovers and all that stuff, but how does that all fit? It
reminds me of the old skit on Sesame Street. Now I'm telling my age, but which one of these things doesn't belong?
Yeah, I agree.
That's what I think of when you mention the Golden Elite.
It's been great. Yeah. It's been great for Ibushi. I mean, he needed something to help pick him up another level, because he's kind of he's been languishing since. I mean, he's a great wrestler, but he hasn't had that recognition for quite a while, and I think that's good for him. Well, but I don't know how it fits.
He had left and came and tried to do the NXT thing,
and that didn't work
injuries,
well.
And it just didn't work. So, but yeah, I'm with you. I like the storyline where it's headed. They still need to do something like you said was the Golden Elite. I don't know where that's going to go.
Yep.
You can't have, at least I wouldn't think that you'd want 2 tag teams, in the same group.
Well, but Kenny's not going to do much tagging now. I mean, as the IWGP title holder.
He really can't be a tag team with him being the champ and then having to defend the title all the time.
Yeah. So that's where I am. I'm with you. I'm stumped on what happens to it. Or do they just, as the story has started to evolve with the Civil War of the Bullet Club, does the Golden Elite just kind of disappear, Yeah.
And back to the NWO, if you remember when they started splintering, for a while it was pretty good, and then it just kind of splintered and splintered and splintered to the point where your viewers stopped really caring. Everybody was just happy to throw up a Too Sweet sign
and throw a shirt on.
Buy a Wolfpack shirt.
Who's putting a shirt on tonight?
Yeah, they just kind of lost everybody in the shuffle, and I'm hoping that's not what happens with Bullet Club.
Well, I mean, when you get to the point, if you think about the NWO, I mean, there was a point where Dusty Rhodes was part of it, Louis Spicoli. I mean, they were bringing just random randos to be on the show.
Dennis Rodman was NWO.
Dennis Rodman was too, and I mean, I don't know. It just was weird that so many of those people were part of the NWO. It watered it down, and that's why I look at this, because you can pretty much make a guess that Flip Gordon is probably going to get invited to be part of the Elite. It just makes sense, but
Well, yeah.
Do they add too many people and people don't care? Or because they call themselves the Elite, are they just going to fade away from the Bullet Club name and let, Tama and the rest of them take that name and they just become the Elite? I don't know. Because, if you do that, I don't think you got a problem because they are not a heel group. There's no one in there. Even though the villain, he's not a heel.
No, he's... Love him to death. Cracks me up though. It's not that he's villainous. He just the whole character, everything. I love it. But even if you watch him on the Elite YouTube channel when Jericho's talking to the Bucks about the cruise and he's peeking around the corner of the closet, like staring at him.
Yeah. Looking at this though, does Tama get that push and become the real leader? Because he has the most at stake to be the real leader. I mean, considering he is one of the original founders, if you think...
I would like to see it. I mean, I think they've been overlooked. His brother, I saw him at a house show when he wrestled when he was Camacho.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Yeah. He used to ride out on the little souped up Schwinn bicycle. But I think those guys need to push, and having Haku there, which that's just...
Yeah, but I don't know he's going to be there. He's not going to be there at much. I mean, because you've got two OGBCs there. You got Bad Luck Fale and Tama. They both helped start that with Anderson and Finn Balor and Taguchi. So that's the thing. You look at that, and they have more right than anyone else because they're still doing it the way when they first came in. And that's what I wonder.
Well, what I was getting to was I just like it because it's felt like they've been overlooked because all the attention's been on Omega and the Bucks and Cody, and they're still under that Bullet Club banner, but yet he's been getting bypassed. So that's the part I like. That's the story-driven part that I'm interested in. And as long as they have that part, as long as there's that story behind it, or at least fans of New Japan know the story, then I'm cool with it. But when it's just, hey, let's throw Kenny Omega's mom up on a pole.
Buff Bagwell would be pissed at you. Judy Bagwell's fighting your ass, man. Don't piss her off.
When it starts becoming that, then I'm...
Well, you're okay, bro, because I don't think bro is going to be doing any broing for the New Japan bro.
No. He won't be doing any broing for a while, it doesn't sound like.
No. I don't think you have to worry about the writing for that because I think they know what they're doing and they're very conscious of how they put that together. Because, I mean, for a group that has succeeded with two of their main, well, hell, even more than that. They've had 4 main members blast out in the last couple of years, and they still go, and they're still as popular. It's like they figure the right person to put in, and it works perfectly.
I mean, if you think about the talent that WWE has pulled out of there, it's insane, and they're still trying to get more.
Well, and the sad thing too is, besides AJ Styles, who was booked perfectly, the other 3 guys, Balor's okay, but I mean, Anderson and Gallows haven't had any love, really.
No.
And that's kind of a shame. I mean,
they've been stuck on mid-card. They haven't even had a really good title run yet.
Yep. And that's what I kind of worry about is like, considering their pedigree, it's kind of like Jim Ross. Hey, I don't know who these guys are, but they look just like blah, blah, blah. Let's just book them like this.
Yeah. When you go back and you look at all the NWO stuff, and what happened was it was just oversaturation. It's just like anything. It's like any TV show. You always start off with a few people are kind of hip to it, and then they tell their friends, and then it grows, and then it gets to the point where people are just tired of it. Case in point, Duck Dynasty. That was started off small. Everybody thought it was kind of humorous, and then it just kind of blew up, and then next thing you know, you couldn't walk into a Walmart without seeing 35 Duck Dynasty shirts on people, and now it's like it's off the air and people are tired of talking about it.
Well, yeah, and if you had the ability to book it, how would you play out this whole BC thing?
Well, what I would do, number one, is since they're a tag team, I think I would book a tag match with the Golden Elite for Cody and Omega's already fought for control of Bullet Club.
Yep.
And I would do something that would make it a 3-on-3. So you have Cody, Ibushi, and Omega in one corner, and then the Guerrillas of Destiny and Bad Luck Fale over there, and let those guys go at it for control. Because those guys have been in it. Well, at least 2 of the 3 on the one corner have been in it. They're originals.
Yeah.
And I would do something like that. You might start where they attack somebody and take somebody out, or they can't compete for a while, or make it look like they can't compete for a while, and then build it up where this big 3-man tag or something like that. Maybe at Wrestle Kingdom, where there's the big show in January. Just have a build for it for control of Bullet Club, because Cody and Omega have fought for it, but you got a guy that was the original member in Tama Tonga that no one even talked about.
Well, it would be cool if Tama won the G1 and got a shot at Omega. That could be a big match at Wrestle Kingdom. Real control of the Bullet Club. I mean, if that was how it all played out, if this is the time that you decide that Tama can be elevated, he could take the name Bullet Club and they could run their thing, and then the Elite could do their thing, and you'd have 2 separate groups to do whatever they need to do. And it could be the case of where you're seeing, where's your alliance? Where does your alliance lay? Are you with us or are you with them? And who knows? Maybe by that time, maybe Gallows and Anderson's contract's up and they decide to come back to Japan. who knows?
Yeah, I'm the type of guy that I would have no problem showing up in a firing squad shirt with a meet and greet with the Young Bucks. I think that'd be cool. It's like, hey, nice to meet you. Like my shirt?
Oh, so you're going to buy one of those. I see what you're up to.
My wife just shakes her head. She's like, is that another wrestling shirt? I'm like, yeah, it might be. But
that's okay. I had to go OG. I went and... thank gosh, WWE was having a sale, so I was able to get a new NWO shirt. So I wanted to make sure I had that. So I needed it. I didn't have one, so I'm like, hey, it's on sale. Hell, can't get one like that. So yeah, I've got my NWO shirt.
I'm sure you could have went to your local Goodwill and got an original one.
I'm good, man. It's perfect. It'll be brand new. So I've got that. I've got a New Japan shirt coming too.
You're all set.
I am. So I have to make sure it's going to be easy to dress. So that makes me happy. But
pretty much every shirt's black.
No, my New Japan shirt is white.
Ah, okay. Gotcha.
I try to look different. I don't know about you, but I hate freaking black shirts. I don't know who the hell living in their basement thought it was a good idea to make every damn wrestling shirt black. But seriously, blue, red, I don't care. I mean, neon green. Give me something different. I'm tired of every damn shirt being black.
Well, I've got a collar and elbow shirt coming this week, so
listen to you. Jeez.
Gotta support Al Snow.
I guess so.
Independent wrestlers. So.
All right. I suppose so. That's our discussion of our thoughts on what's going to happen with the Bullet Club and how they kind of right now have a similar path that the NWO took. But let's hit the hot tag for this week.
By God, it's a hot tag!
All right, it's time for this week's hot tags, and I'm going to talk about probably the biggest story right now. Brock Lesnar back in the UFC.
Okay, number one, who wears a suit with his pants tucked in his boots? I guess if you're Brock Lesnar, you can do that.
I'm not going to tell him he's wrong.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't either, but anyways, I'll go back on topic. The guy's just going to make money. I mean, everywhere he goes, he makes money. He's a draw. But I haven't watched UFC. I used to watch UFC quite a bit, and I've just gotten to where I don't watch.
Mm-hmm.
They don't really have the stars. I mean, McGregor was kind of a draw, but it was more for his mouth than anything that he really did in the ring.
Yeah.
I'm just not that interested in a Lesnar-Daniel Cormier match.
Well, a lot of the guys they're putting out there now, are getting up there in age. I mean, they're letting guys like CM Punk fight, and
right.
You know what I mean? They're trying to find draws, and there's no up-and-comers right now that seem to be ready to take that mantle. And so, I mean, here you go. You're bringing Brock Lesnar back after, getting dinged with a drug violation. So he won't wrestle. He won't be able to fight until probably January, I think. But whatever. Yeah. Stop holding the Universal title hostage. That's all I say.
Well, that leads me into my hot tag.
Yeah.
Braun Strowman and his Money in the Bank.
I really don't care. I feel that a lot of the hype for Braun Strowman has started to die down, and it's not his fault. It's just creative. I didn't watch 3 weeks ago when he pushed Kevin Owens over in a porta potty. Who cares? I don't know why people thought that was interesting. Braun Strowman is a beast. Why does he need a Money in the Bank briefcase? He can just go kick somebody's ass and take the title. That's why, to me, it never made sense. And I'm kind of over him. I'm over him, and I think I'm over Elias.
Oh, really? You're throwing Elias over, huh?
I'm throwing them both over.
It's more creative than it is Elias.
Well, it is, and that's what I'm saying. It's not their fault. It's creative's fault that they don't know what to do with them. And that's why I don't care as much about Braun, and I don't really care. I'm just going to throw Elias in there just because I don't really care about him. So that's it. Sorry.
Hey, opinions are opinions.
All right.
Entitled to their room.
What are your thoughts on the B team?
Not the B team. I'm still for the B team. Those two guys behind the Miz and all that crap where they had to be yes men and wear suits and just stand there and do nothing. I am still for the B team. I want to see the B team succeed without just being comedy blunders or wonders or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
I don't want to see a comedy act, but if they're entertaining, I'm all for it. I think those guys have, paid more than enough of their dues. Everybody needs at least one run. I mean, shoot, Zack Ryder got one WrestleMania run. He got to kiss Eve and get thrown off the stage by Kane.
My God! My God!
Everybody gets a chance. So yeah, I'm gonna give the B team an A- for me right now.
Okay.
So, and that kind of leads me in. I mentioned somebody I was going to ask you about, and that is hopefully future Knox County Mayor Glenn Jacobs. And what do you think about his coming back to another run as Kane?
I'm not knocking anything. I mean, if this is Kane's swan song, he's always said that he had probably some of the best times working with Daniel Bryan because they just seem to have a real natural chemistry. And right now, considering how blah creative is, I guess it's the one bright spot for a lot of fans because I don't know if WWE is willing to push Daniel Bryan by himself because, as most people report, he hasn't signed a new contract yet. So you can still get him over with Kane, but you're not putting him in the mix of something where he could ruin your planning for the rest of the year up to WrestleMania. So that makes a lot of sense there. And, you know, whatever else, good for Kane. You know, if he wins, then he gets to be another folk wrestler that jumped into politics, and good luck for him. So there you go. But anyway,
I agree with you.
Yeah, good. See, I know you're going to agree with me. Ha ha. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this week's show. Thank you very much for listening. And as usual, we like to beg and hope that you go to our website, undertheringreport.com. Please. Subscribe. The more you subscribe, the more chances Tom can spend more money for another meet and greet at All In.
Heck yeah. Do it now.
All right. Thanks a lot for joining us here on the Under the Ring Report.
Hello, wrestling fans. This is the Honky Tonk Man, the greatest WWF Intercontinental Champion of all time, and you're listening to Under the Ring Report.
Follow the Under the Ring Report on Twitter at UTRR Podcast. You can subscribe to the Under the Ring Report on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher, or visit undertheringreport.com. Thanks for listening to the Under the Ring Report.